Well,
hmm
Rosemary, welcome to Action Reloaded. It is awesome to have you here. Many people know your face from Man of War. So how have you been?
First of all, thank you for inviting me. It's such a pleasure to be talking to you today. Um, Man of War, Man of War. That was such a great experience. I'm very grateful to have been part of that project.
And before that, you did play the damsel in distress in the movie The Bouncer.
Yes, that's a very good contrast. That's a very big contrast between The Bouncer and Man of War, and I think it was a very good stepping stone. There was no other option but to play the damsel in distress and The Bouncer, which was actually my first role, and then Man of War was such a Riley was such a badass woman. She was so strong. So I was very happy to move to different characteristic, a different type of femininity, which is a little bit braver, stronger, more grounded. Um, so yeah, that's it's an interesting juxtaposition between the two films. Even though the situations are very similar, the character is not.
And Man of War, you got to kick some more ass than you did in The Bouncer.
I did. And also we had a great stunt team, on Man of War. Everyone was, so professional, and I learned so much from them. I had most of my fight sequences were with Danny. And he's a very experienced stuntman, so I felt very safe in that environment. And I did get to kick some ass thanks to Will Kaufman. So very well written, I would say.
Yeah, Will's not one for letting any character not get their hands dirty, so
Yes,
you know.
absolutely. Yeah.
So working with like the three leads, essentially, you had like LaMonica. You had Daniel, and then you had Andy as well.
Yeah.
Like this was like a testosterone-filled set, like, and then you had like William directing it all. What was it like being amongst some heavy hitters like that?
Oh, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it on and off screen. Um, it's I'm used to that because I was in sports, so all of us had a common background of being an athlete or being in stunts or anything like that, and I was very happy to be, essentially one of the boys. And as I said, it was a very strong character, and this strength coming from stillness in very unpredictable, turbulent times, as we know war
And what was it
is.
like working with Daniel? Like, because even though like you're the damsel sort of character, you never really spend much time with LaMonica. It's basically that phone call, and then the rest of the time you get to be opposite Daniel, and he's at like his psychotic best. So what was that like getting to work with him?
Well, funnily enough, Danny's actually a great guy. He's nothing like the character he plays. He was very professional. As I say, he's a very good stuntman and also a good actor, and everything was for him was precision, patience, safety. So even very tiny things, he was paying so much attention to detail and to very little things. He was constantly asking me, "Are you okay? Are you okay with that? Do you feel safe? Are you?" And I said, "Yes, I feel very safe." I had a great time with him. I had a great time. He had this tick that I'm not gonna say anything, but you're gonna see this little tick that he has in the film that I found so funny, and I was laughing on every take because I thought it's creepy but actually ridiculous at the same time. It was great. It was genius.
Um, More to the point, I actually should have hit this at the start. How did you get involved with Man of War? Like, was it a whole auditioning process, or like, what was the rhythm to you getting the role of Riley?
Well, I actually heard about the project from a friend of mine. His name is Max, and he is also in the film and plays Ringo. So Max basically told me that there is a project that's going to happen in the studio very soon. And he basically put my name forward. and then I got to do an audition. I met with Will. We had a great meeting, and then the rest is history. And I was also we were shooting in Bulgaria, and I was local talent. And here I want to say big thank you to the producers and the director for keeping the cast as local as possible, because the film is set in Russia, Ukraine, and a lot of the people on set were actually Ukrainian who had fled the war and came to Bulgaria to seek refuge. And we had a lot of interesting stories, real stories,
Yeah,
and that kind of instilled a lot of respect, and we were very careful, because those were real stories, and they were not acting. They were acting, but they were not acting. So we had to take it very seriously. And, so I'm very grateful to the producers and Will for doing that, and also casting me, because I'm not from Ukraine or Russia. I'm from Bulgaria, but it is the same post communist mentality, you
yeah,
know. So they could have flown somewhere for someone from the UK or the US, but
they
yeah,
stayed
I'm very
local.
good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Really cool.
And then Stanley was on stunts, wasn't he?
Stanny was great. I love Stanny. Yeah, yeah. He was on stunts. I really love him. He's kind of quiet, but so professional. He only speaks when he has to.
Yeah.
He's great. He's actually really smart, and he's such a professional. Um, and he gave me actually a lot of advice. I had a few stunt scenes as well, and I consulted with him, obviously, and yeah, we're very grateful to have him.
And then obviously this is like a big action movie. What sort of training did you go through? Because your character still gets involved physically, and then you do fire some guns. Did you go through the same sort of training as like LaMonica went through?
No, not really, because I'm supposed to play a character that's not very familiar with guns. Uh, I did though. I did ask Max, who was also there to help us with the stunts as well as acting. So I asked Max. I talked to Stanny, and Danny also helped me a lot. I obviously wanted to be prepared, and I wanted her to be a badass and shoot everyone, but they did let me do one scene where she holds a gun or two, so that was really cool.
For
Mm.
you, what was the highlight of Man of War? What was your favorite scene?
Oh wow. Well, in terms of physicality, I really enjoyed doing the scene with Danny because it involved a lot of stunts, and the same scene, the previous one where she's strategizing. I like that character because you can see that the values Mike LaMonica instilled in her reflect in her relationships with the other characters, with Isabel, the other female character she's taking care of, and the children as well. So whatever he taught her stayed with her, and she wanted to keep calm, she wanted to keep grounded. And I think the greatest asset is clarity in a situation like that. So I try to do that. And in terms of emotionality, I think the scene where she finally, we can talk about it now, right? Because the
Yeah,
film's out.
it's out. Yeah,
Yeah.
if
The
no
the the
one's seen
scene
it, it's
where
on them.
yeah, the scene where she and when where Mike finds her. I think that's a very emotional one. And the one where, Isabel gets killed, and there's a lot of emotionality. There's a lot. I love every each and every scene in that
Did
film.
Will ever discuss like the potentials of like bringing this character back at all in the future? Because there's still more to discuss or discover, sorry, with the character, with all the characters really, because there's Bonnie who lost like his whole squad, so there could be something there. There's Riley and Connor who have obviously their journey home. And then there's Jason Patrick's character who is destined for more action. Then there's
Yeah.
Andy's character who is just sort of. gone off to war, essentially.
Yeah.
Every character has an arc.
Yeah. Oh, that like, don't give us any ideas. I would love to do that. I think next time Riley should be going with them, you know. She should, like, she's gonna be one of the boys. She's gonna be the leader of the group.
And I know it's like not really as such to do with your character, but I have to say what I really loved because, I can speak about it as like, the movie's out. Daniel Bernhardt, his character, his like death scene was
Yeah.
it was so cool. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't what you'd expect. I expected him to get killed by LaMonica in the when they were having their hand to hand. Like
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
full of surprises, that movie, isn't it?
There's so many surprises. There's so many surprises, and also the action sequences are so good.
Yeah.
The actions, I actually went to set even on my days off. I was going um to watch. And I that was that day where they were doing the action sequence and we actually didn't finish on time. And then the producers gave us they gave them, it was the LaMonica and Danny scene, they gave them 6 more hours, which doesn't really happen, you
Yeah.
know? So and I love how it turned out. It's so I mean, they're so good. They're so disciplined, they're so disciplined. They're very good at what they do, both with their acting and their physicality. So I think it's and Will, Will, he is I love Will. I mean, it's not a surprise to me that the film turned out so good. But
Yeah.
I said to Will after we saw it at the premiere, I said, I knew it was going to be good, but you kind of exceeded my expectations a little, not a little bit, a lot, because the budget and the product is just it's so good. It's so good.
I've been following Will's work for ages, and like I hope loads of other people agree with this. I find you see, like not saying you're old, Will, but like the
Mm.
older Will gets, like the better the movies get. But that's not
True.
saying the ones before were bad. He's always done a good movie, and you're like, that's brilliant. He can't top that. And then the next year he'll come back and he tops it.
He can do so much with so little, also, but he has a very clear vision. He has a very clear vision about what he wants, and the environment that he creates on set. It's just fantastic. It's for at least my experience with him is that he's very calm, grounded, and focused. And he knows what he wants, but he would never stop you if you kind of say, "Hey, I have an instinct, and can I try this and can I try that?" Even though we shot that film for 24 days, which is nothing, he still found the time to actually listen to people and what
I suppose
they
that's
would
why he's
suggest.
good at what
Yeah,
he does.
yeah.
It's not all about him. He's there to share it with everyone,
Yeah, exactly.
which is good.
Exactly. But he did so I'm so excited to see Will's future projects, honestly.
Yeah.
Very, very excited. Yeah.
And you know what? Man of War was brilliant. And then he done a movie before that called Osiris, and then he done one before that called The Channel,
The
and
channel.
all brilliant. And the man just never does a sequel. So
Yes. Yes. Well, I think Man of War should be the first one.
yeah,
I want to be in it. I want Riley to be part of the group. Or they should have a female squad.
that's actually a good angle at it.
Yeah, right? I think that would be very cool.
So it was the premiere, which was it like last Tuesday? Was that like the
It
first?
was on July. Sorry, it was on the 30th of June.
And then was that the first time you had seen the whole film put together?
Yes, it was the first time I've seen the film. I did some ADR before, so we saw a couple of my scenes, but the combination of I was shocked. The combination of everything put together, it was a very good balance of action and emotionality. Um, I loved it. I spoke to LaMonica after that and I congratulated him and I said thank you because even on set he was almost like fatherly figure on and off set.
Yeah.
And I learned so much from him because he was very disciplined. and both to his craft and the physicality. And I really admired him, you know.
So you're kind of like, I don't want to dampen it, because I don't want to make it seem like it's not as big as it is, but like you're sort of fresh to the whole movie industry,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, like you're starting out and you're finding your foot in so far. So
Yeah.
like, was this like your first sort of premiere with this?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
that's really
It
cool. What that
it
film could you have than this as your premiere, like?
I honestly, when I got the call that I got that part, I was already so happy because I've read the script, you know,
Yeah,
and I knew that it was gonna be good. I read, you know, I read it maybe 5 times in a row, and I thought, wow, first of all, it's so relevant, you know, and at the
yeah,
same time, it's a drama, but it's also an action film. So there's moments where I think there's very few moments of humor as well, and a few moments of brutal honesty about the reality of what's actually happening. There's a
yeah.
couple of scenes, and one of the scenes I actually love is the one with the wheelchair. Um, that's for me one of the highlights, and and it did make a few people cry, you know, in the theater.
That's actually really, see when you get a reaction like that, it sort of just does it. You know you've done good.
Yeah, 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 definitely. You know that's why we're doing the whole thing.
And then after Man of War, what's the next steps for you like now? Are you currently looking into other projects? Are you sort of just taking a back seat for a bit? Or what's happening now?
Well, I'm not taking a back seat for sure. Um, I don't know. I mean, I will definitely keep searching for the right character. Um, I want to do very different things. I want to do something um, more dramatic, I would say. Um, there are certain things that I have in mind that I want to play, and I'll put myself forward um, for them. But yeah, I'll keep you posted.
Would action still be in the mainframe?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think sports will definitely be in the frame. Um, I think stunts will be. I think, you know, being active, and um, I really like martial arts and different, you know, all kinds of sports. So I think that would physicality will always be a part of what I do. But maybe it will take the backseat for a little bit so I could focus on um some more depth if I get the chance to, of course.
And then after seeing someone like William in action, did it like spur you on to think, I wouldn't mind this directing gig? Or were you thinking that looks too stressful? I think I'll just stick it in front of the camera.
Oh wow. I think you have to grow into that. I think I know a lot of actors who turn directors. I think it's such a responsible job. It's so hard. I don't know yet. Maybe in 20 years, maybe not. But for now, you know, I'm focused. I just started that, so I'm kind of focused on learning as much as I can about that, being in front of the camera, and the, you know, the inner world of what it's like to be an actor, and then I'll focus on other stuff. But I love that idea because if you direct, you can actually share so much more of what you think, and you can make a film about things you know actually care about.
Yeah.
You can, you know, you can make a film about conflict, you can make a film about love, and it's all in your hands, and I really like the idea of that. So in a couple of years, maybe.
That's brilliant. Well, I'm gonna have to keep an eye out for what you're gonna be in next and, get you back on and you know, when you make it big, remember Action Reloaded.
Oh, I would love to come back. I would love to have a reason to come back. I would love to talk to you again. I love Action Reloaded. I really like the background you have. I like the logo. It's really cool. So yeah, I'd love to be back. Thank you.
Rosemary, it's been great having you on. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
No worries. And best of luck with the release of Man of War, and hopefully it opens up so much more doors for you because
Mm.
it's such a, you knocked it out the park with your performances, Riley. So, I can't see why you won't be exploding up the screen soon.
Thank you so much. That's very nice of you. Thank you. I wish you all the best as well with your channel. And I
Thank you.
hope we get to talk to each other very soon.
Yeah, me too. But keep me posted on what's next.
Definitely. Thank you.
Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.